So, hello everybody. I'm Sven KÖHLER from ProGETONE project. ProGETONE is an European-funded project developing new solutions to increase the energy efficiency and the seismic safety in the building sector. Today we are continuing with our webinar cycle. We will talk about self-consumption today, self-consumption strategies and for the housing sector. And that's quite a trending topic, which is highly related to energy generation, energy distribution, and energy communities. So today we have three speakers with us, three experts on this topic. First of all, Alberto BELDA, he's an engineer, an energy engineer from CARTIF Technological Center. He is currently the coordinator of a LocalRes project, which aims to encourage the development of local citizen-driven renewable energy communities. We have also Florencia LAZZARI. She's a physician working at CIMNE Research Center. She has been leading some developments at the EKATE project, an Interreg project developing a smart energy management service based on photovoltaic, blockchain, and shared self-consumption. And we have also Sven KÖHLER, which is a systems engineer, and he's the CEO of ANERDGY, which is a company specialized on the development of innovative roof concepts and plans. And as member of ProGETONE Consortia, he will give an insight on the ProGETONE approach to this topic and some complementary solutions for PV generation. So the idea is to start with the presentations of these experts and to understand. Each of you will have about 5 minutes to present it, and then a common roundtable of around a quarter with common questions. So all the YouTube viewers that want to ask some questions, you can put it on the comment section, and we will integrate if we have time, or we will try to integrate on the roundtable. So thank you all of you, and we can start now. So Alberto, the floor is yours.
Yes, I will share my screen. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Project One, for inviting me to discuss about such interesting topics. In this case, as I said, I will mainly focus on, well, briefly introducing energy communities and presenting an example of a pilot site in Austria, which is part of LocalRes project, and as said, an EU-funded project of which I am the coordinator. So, first of all, I think it is important to understand the context where the energy communities have emerged and why they make sense, let's say. So, as you all may know, the energy sector is experiencing change, very big changes, a change of paradigm, which is called a change of paradigm that is affecting all the different layers. We are shifting for us from a system which was very much centralized with very big plans with energy flows, which were one-way energy flows from the production to the consumption, the consumer, and consumers which were passive, let's say, so they just consumed and paid the bill, to very decentralized or much more decentralized systems with bidirectional flows, and also a very much active participation of the users in the system, in the energy sector. And this is a key aspect, because it is said that this new model that we are going towards will be centered on citizens and will be much more collaborative. So to support this model, and in this context, let's say, also to place the civil society in the center of the transition and to promote the empowerment of citizens, the European Commission included for the first time in its legislation the concept of energy communities in the clean energy package. And they included two different figures of energy communities, so citizen energy community and renewable energy community, in two different directives with slight differences. But what are energy communities? So, well, in short, energy communities are a way of organizing collective actions or citizen-driven actions that are focused or that are related to energy. And going a bit more into detail or extending a bit more this definition, energy communities are legal entities which can be cooperatives or society, associations that are based on open and voluntary participation, meaning that everyone fulfilling the requirements can be part of the community, but also they can join the community and they can also leave the community at any moment. Also that they are effectively controlled by shareholders or the members of the community, which can include citizens, SMEs, and local authorities, and that have a primary purpose of providing environmental, economic, social, communities benefits for their members or for the local area members. So according to this, in principle, what do energy communities have to do with self-consumption, or what's the difference? So basically, and this is interesting, collective self-consumption, especially based on PV systems, solar systems, it is the most frequent services that energy communities are providing so far. But energy communities do not necessarily imply setting up collective self-consumption. And also, energy communities are supposed, or they are allowed, and they are expected to go beyond these kind of systems and provide other types of, or integrate other type of technologies and provide other type of services, such as, for instance, from wind turbines until, electrolyzers, and services such as vehicle-to-grid activities, congestion management, ancillary services, and so on. And just very quickly, in the case of LocalRes, we are doing more or less the same. So we are placing citizens and communities in the center. So what we are doing is to support them in the creation and operation of renewable energy communities in two different phases. So at the very beginning, during the learning phase, planning phase, and creation of the energy communities, and once it is created, for the integration and operation of the system. And to do so, we are developing two digital tools, one planning tool and one multi-market, multi-energy virtual power plant, a very tough name. And we are validating these two tools in 4 demonstration sites in Austria, Italy, Finland, and Spain, where we are also trying to decarbonize the system. So we are a team of 20 institutions from 8 countries, and these are the 4 demo sites in Spain. It's Padstedt, Berkida in Italy, Ohlsdorf in Austria, and Cekar in Finland. And we will just focus a bit more in the case of Ohlsdorf, just for you to see this example of energy communities and success story of Ohlsdorf. Ohlsdorf is quite a small village in the southeastern Austria with around 1,000 inhabitants. And they, since long ago, since around 10 years ago, they started working on these renewable energy activities to become a smart municipality. And at this point, they are part of different initiatives and very big projects. And they have the key of their success is the great engagement of citizens. For that, it was key the participation of the municipality, and in particular about the mayor, because part of this citizen engagement was led by him. And now there's around 400 kilowatt of PV systems in the municipality. They have already constituted an energy community with, at the moment, it is registered already, and at the moment there are 32 households and of at least 4 public buildings integrated. And they are going beyond in the sense that, first of all, not only PV is installed, but also electric chargers, electric batteries, and so on. And they are trying to provide first a smart ICT infrastructure, also blackout strategies, blackout algorithms, and also they are trying to provide, to be prepared for a peer-to-peer energy trading framework. So just as an example, very, very, very quickly, and that would be all from my side. It was quite fast, I think.
Thank you very much, Alberto. Very interesting presentation. And thank you for your short presentation, which is, in that case, in this kind of webinars, it seems every day very short, but it's clear and it's very interesting. So thank you. Florencia, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So I will try sharing my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Great. So thank you very much for inviting me to the webinar. I will talk about renewable energy communities and tools to optimize. In particular, I will talk about some algorithms which I have been developing. So first of all, this development was done in the EKATE project. The EKATE project was born to work on the efficient management of photovoltaic electrical energy and throughout IoT technologies, and it was born out of the need for tools to improve the exploitation of the exceptional solar capital, which is in the border of France and Spain. So which was the first motivation? It was to develop a tool to help in both the planning and the operation of renewable energy communities, with the objective of extracting both the maximum potential of renewable sources and also guaranteeing an, an economic profitability for all of the participants. So I will remind a bit of the Spanish legal framework, the legal framework of nowadays. So nowadays, when the participants, when the prosumers want to conform an energy community, they have to determine some allocation ratio, which represents the percentage of the solar generation energy that will be assigned to each of the participants. These allocation ratios, which I called betas, they're called betas, have to be determined a priori. This means before the consumption is made, and have to be updated every 4 months. For the French case, the allocation coefficients are determined a posteriori, so after the consumption is done, and have to be updated every month. But I will focus on the Spanish case. The same analysis was done for the French case. So a bit of a scheme of the algorithms. The inputs are the electricity grid price signal, the solar generation data, the historical electric consumption of the participants, and the investment of each participant. So if we're in the case of planning, so the community hasn't been formed yet, we apply an optimization of the selection of the participants. So you can imagine we have a huge number of participants which are eager to form part of this community, or they want to form several communities. Our objective is to find the best combination of participants, so to be able to match them in the best way. To form this combination, to obtain this combination, we minimized the solar excess which will be sold to the grid. And the second part is an optimization of the allocation of this energy. So once we have these participants merged in the optimal way, we allocate this generated energy among these participants in the best way of all. So to obtain this optimal way of allocating the energy, we concentrate in minimizing the solar excess and also the economic profitability for everyone. If we are not in the planning phase and the energy community has already been formed, then the only optimization which is run is the allocation one. So I will show a case study with data from Barcelona to do this optimization, we used historic electricity consumption of 128 participants, and we gathered information of 7 solar installations. Based on this, on some typical ways of selecting participants and allocating energy, we defined 3 typical renewable energy communities. The first one was, we called it the profitable one, which is obtained out of a random selection, and the solar allocation of the energy is based on investment. This means that the participant who invested the most will receive the most. The second one is the sustainable energy community. In this case, the selection was also random, but as we don't care about the profitability, then we selected a bigger number of participants in order to avoid generating solar excess. Again, the allocation of the energy was based on reducing the solar excess. And last but not least, the novel energy community is the one which uses both the optimal, the selection, which is based on our optimization, and the allocation as well. These are the results. The plots show the aggregated pattern for the whole community during a day. This is the mean. In blue, you can see the energy which is consumed from the grid. In green, the energy consumed from the solar installation. And in red, the energy which was generated by the solar installation and was sold to the grid. From these plots, we perceive that both the novel and the sustainable are the ones which exploit best the energy generated from the installation, because we don't have any red curve, so there is no energy which is sold to the grid. This makes the cell consumption very high. But when comparing inside the sustainable and the novel, when comparing them, we can see that as the sustainable is formed by a higher number of participants, then the aggregated consumption is higher, which makes that the self-sufficiency of the whole community is lower in the case of the sustainable. This has an impact on the profit as well. We want a higher self-sufficiency to have a higher profit. So, all in all, this is a bit of a summary of the results. We have in the left the environmental aspects or statistics, and on the right, the economic statistics. We can see that in red are the results for the profitable energy community, in green the sustainable, and in blue the noble one. We can see that regarding the environmental aspect, the sustainable and the noble resemble very much. And when studying the economic aspect, then the novel assembles to the profitable one, which is the best result we could obtain. So all in all, we obtained a renewable energy community, which guarantees the low solar excess, which is sold to the grid, high self-consumption, high avoided CO2 emissions, and regarding the economic aspect, maximum paybacks which are low, and low difference among the paybacks of the different participants. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Florencia, for this insight on how can we distribute the energy generation amongst the energy community and the different possibilities, regarding the economic ones or the most sustainable ones, or this novel combination of both. Thank you very much. And now, Sven, the floor is yours. So if you share the screen, I will upload to the.
Yes. Give me a second. Okay. Hello, everybody. You should see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The third part of this webinar is about the ProGETonE project and the innovation we did on this and how to improve the self-consumption in housing was the title. So I have assumed you are generally interested. So it's the result of ProGETonE, but also other projects and our experience. We are doing day-by-day works. And first of all, let's have a look what is ProGETonE about. I think Segis already introduced it a little bit, but it's all about retrofit of old buildings and how to make it, let's say, into a better stage. The first important part is that in many areas we have problems with the seismic building norms, that old buildings doesn't fit to this anymore. So we need to have a strengthening of the seismic structure, and having such an outer skeleton here is the way, or one potential way, to go forward. So this is the main idea of ProGETonE, have an outer skeleton to improve the seismic structure. And by this we have a side effect. Basically, we can increase the dwelling space and comfort by getting, first of all, more space, but also having this as a balcony or terrace or even as an extra living room. The third aspect is putting on or add such a structure renewable energy generation elements and maybe also some storage elements. And these three things together give the ProGETonE approach, right? Now, looking a little bit closer to this, we have actually within the ProGETonE project developed a ProGETonE app, right? So this app is actually a thing which loads a 3D model of a building. And then you can apply the ProGETonE approach. So you can choose different structures, different visualizations. You can apply different elements to this building. You instantly see the view, and you can also see some cost estimates here. And in the background, obviously, there's a lot of calculations. So the approach is take your building project, put it into the ProGETonE app, play around with different views and feelings, and get a feel what it costs, how it looks like, and what is the value behind that, right? So the idea is to save time, increase the profitability because you make good decisions, and strengthen the quality also in this early stage, making different options comparing to each other. Yeah. So obviously, when you are doing this ProGETonE app, at least for me, this is the key feature we have developed in this, because it gives you a holistic planning approach, and that's also in our day-to-day company work. That's the most important, to make good decisions on how this individual building should be optimized one by one. We have seen just before some area approaches, which I also am a big fan of it. But in the end of the day, also the building per building needs to be optimized, and using here different energy generation tools, do a reduced consumption, and think about local storage implementation if the demand and supply does not, let's say, fit together to bridge the gap, right? And with this planning approach here, this is the key really to optimize all of this on the building level, on the area level. We have just heard about it, how to approach this. Yeah. Now, on a practical aspect, what can you do? I divided it in pull and push. The pull is something the building owner can directly do, the push not so much. But here on the poor side, you can really ask for an early stage holistic scenario comparison. This is something totally new to the world of architecture. You know, typically you develop one building and one feeling, and it goes more and more details. But having different type of building renovations or new builds compared to each other and give it a price ticket, the visualization and technical aspects and also comfort aspects to each other is not so often done. So we think this is a really good way forward to make it transparent for the owner or for the potential owner to make valuable decisions. The second thing is ask explicit for storage solutions, because so far storage solutions, local storage solutions are often underestimated or just wiped away by, oh, it costs extra money, but it also has a lot of benefits, especially in terms of the costing aspect. You know, grid feed-in tariff is very low these days, and actually whatever you can make in a more economic way, used by the local building, there it's really a benefit. On the push side, that's more for the politics, but still I thought it's good to name it here. Is basically we're working in one project where it's about the politics. And if the politics ask for a building-specific renovation roadmap, this is really something where people have to make a plan. That is really beneficial. German government, for example, asked for this as an option. You get 5% more subsidies for this if you are doing it, right? And the more radical approach is if the government asks for real estate tax pricing, which is in a different strategy as of today. So basically it includes criteria for ESG buildings. And with this, you are increasing the pressure to act for all building owners, because what we see as of today is the amount of buildings which really do a good job and planners which do a good job is still limited. I'm sure they all do their best, but having a clear target here and a demand from the building owner, because he has to pay more taxes if he doesn't do well, rather than if he does, he saves taxes. That's something to look for. For sure, there's some questions how you do this in detail. Yeah, that's our learnings from this project, but also from others. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Sven. So very interesting, this strategy or this, pull and push differences on how can we improve this self-consumption. So I don't know if there is any comment in the YouTube channel. I don't see so, but I have already some questions for you. So for example, I was wondering which are the main barriers for the deployment of energy communities. I don't know, regulatory gaps or the lack of engagement, or maybe the main barriers, or all of them, or administrative, technical barriers. I don't know. Which is your point on that? Who wants to answer?
I can start if you want. Actually, probably a mix of all of them. Also, one very relevant at European level, very relevant barrier is the lack of transposition, or the lack of ambitious transposition of the EU directives, which is leading to, well, uncertainty, regulatory uncertainty, and that is not good when you are trying to promote an innovative concept such as energy communities. So that would be one thing, but of course that's not something that happens in all the countries. It really depends on the countries, because each EU member state, they have the responsibility of transposing at national levels how energy communities are defined, and that's actually one problem. But also, as you said, citizen engagement is usually very difficult in some cases. So for that, I think it is, and this is not a barrier, but a driver could be the existence of what we usually call local hero, or a motivated citizen which can lead the movement, let's say. So having a lack of this type of motivated citizen is actually a barrier in general. And in general, having a lack of information and education and training of people, if people do not know what energy communities can do, and the potential of energy communities in their places, in their homes and systems, well, that's a huge barrier, because of course, if you do not know something, you will never try to do that.
Thank you.
I think that in some cases there are motivated citizens, but the administrative barriers are not allowing them to to engage or to form these communities. So administrative barriers are stopping the motivated citizens. So the rest of the citizenship has it a bit hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's also a question if you are left alone by yourself. For sure, if you do something first time, it is always hurtful, right? But if you have somebody to support you, to help you on this, it can be a company, it can be a consultant, it can be something that gives you kind of a guideline next to you. That is also what we see very helpful. This is what we try for our customers, to be there for them, because obviously they are motivated, at least well, we know. But often the question is how, right? And these barriers are in detail maybe not so much blocking as you working with them and have an understanding. But in the beginning, it looks like a wall, right? But when you come closer, the things become okay. In many cases, let's say, but it's really that this first step, right? You want it, but how?
Yeah, and also for those let's say front runners, it is, I think, very relevant to have references of best practices and other people who have already gone through that path, because it may be very difficult still, but if you at least have the experience from someone else, well, you have some hints about what you can do, and or at least what you can expect, even from the administrative barriers that you will find.
Okay, that links with a question that I think it has been already answered, that I had, is that it is possible for people without or with no technical profile to constitute an energy community on their own. So I assume yes, because the idea is that you need to be accompanied by the group of experts that really,
Exactly.
yeah.
If you don't know, just hire somebody who knows.
Yeah, exactly. So from the technical perspective or administrative perspective, you do not need anyone else. But as said, I would strongly recommend hiring someone and asking, and also using, because at this point, since this is such an innovative figure, the European Commission, they are preparing and providing different platforms and again, initiatives to support people that want to constitute an energy community. So just look for them, and well, my suggestion would be, do not do it alone unless you really know what to do.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from one of our viewers in the YouTube channel. So it's for you, Alberto, but okay. I think that feel free, yes, to answer or to say yes. So the question is, in many countries, it's not allowed to convert electricity directly into heat. And the question is, what do you think that the use of electric energy from renewable energy sources for hot water could be a more sustainable solution compared to the solar panels of heat pumps.
Solar panels of heat pumps. I don't know if I got the last part, but I don't know, maybe if the rest you got it.
I can try.
Yeah.
No, I mean, okay, go for it. It was just the last part, but go for it. Yes.
I think it's mainly the issue that in some countries you can, yes, you are not allowed to use directly the electricity for heating solutions, but the question is if it would be more sustainable solution compared to the panels of heat pumps. Yeah.
We in our project, we have that from time to time, but then we are using a heat pump in between, right? So with the heat pump, you are increasing the factor of generating heat from electricity. And by this, as far as I'm aware, you are fine in all countries. And out of this, you can transfer electricity to heat with a factor.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, I don't know really if I really got the question, especially the last part about panels of solar. Okay,
sorry, I have put here on the.
Okay, now solar panels of heat pumps. I don't know what solar panels of heat pumps. I would say it's solar panels or heat pumps. I don't know.
Maybe with
or with heat pumps. Okay. For hot water could be a more sustainable solution compared to. I mean, to me, I would say that solar panels coupled with heat pumps is one of the most efficient ways of using, in an efficient way, electricity to provide heat. We should check the case just to see, because maybe, I don't know, there could be a difference. But at this point, the efficiency factor that you can get with heat pumps compared to other solutions is much higher. So, yeah.
Okay. So maybe, I don't know, we are 7 minutes late compared to the original planning, but I would like just a last to make a last question, which is your opinion on how the creation of energy communities can be boosted and widely spread across Europe. Just as a conclusion, I would say, of this webinar. So if you can give your point on that, please.
Do you want to start? I mean, I can start.
Why not?
I mean, I think now at European level we have the EU directives which set the perfect framework, but now it is on each of the EU members, the state members, to be ambitious enough so that it becomes a key actor in the energy sector. So one of the first aspects to spread or to boost these figures across Europe would be for them to have regulatory advantages, so that people find them useful, find them attractive to become an energy community. But of course, and this is also something that, well, I think it is necessary, especially during first years, and to prove that this is actually a good solution, to provide incentives and to provide additional funding, at least for the first front runners, to show that this is actually a very good solution and a very good alternative. But also, again, to inform, to promote, to share about what is being done and all the best practices that are being done all around Europe, because there are very, very interesting things that people might not know, and that by widely spreading, using social media in an effective way, and finding a way to reach more and more people, they can find energy communities very, very attractive, because I think they are.
Thank you. Sven, Florencia.
Laura.
Okay. So I totally agree. I would emphasize the fact of communication, and it's communication campaigns, promotion campaigns, because I think people are not aware about these legal changes. So people should be, first of all, they should be informed. I also think there should be some incentives, economical incentives for the first ones to carry out this change. But I think communication is one of the important aspects.
Thank you.
Yeah, and from my aspect, I think there's these two things go together, right? One thing is the optimization of the energy community, but on the other side is the individual buildings or elements inside this community, and there's still a question of how to frame a proper energy community. Is it better with a lot of let's say buildings for living, or is it with a little industrial complex and these kind of things? I think there is too little just best practice on the hand where people can say, let's do it like this, right? So there's some practical questions in between where it's about to find out. Right? We are, for example, part of some of these projects, and giving the right size and the right borders to this energy community can be a bit of a challenge. But the good news from my field is that you can extend or even reduce, but usually it's about extend. So if you find a group of some people who want to do it, later on to attach 1, 2, 3 more, it's nicer. So just start, right? I think it's about to start now, try it out, and then you find out if you want to grow or how you want to grow. That's at least what I often recommend, that the point to start is now, and you are not making a final closure around, right? So you are open for some futures implementation.
Okay, so I think that we should finalize this webinar. Thank you, all of you, for your interesting insights. And I hope that, yes, all these innovative and new solutions will be really, that now they are trending topics, I would say. It will be, yes, standard procedures in some few years. So thank you very much, all of you, and keep in touch.
Thank you very much.